I'm all good. How y'all doing? That's great. That's great. All right, let's go.
Hey, I want to ask you a question.
What's up?
Getting a contract extension
Mhm.
prior to the season, does that remove any kind of like, man, what's going to happen next year? Is it a relief in any way to have that security?
Uh, I mean, of course. I mean, everybody. You kind of, if you look into the future in that aspect, it's definitely a kind of a sigh of release, for lack of a better word. But at the same time, like I've kind of been saying this ever since I've been at the podium. I'm always focused on kind of the next thing. But obviously, I'm excited to still be a part of the family, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Well, Matthew was just talking about your message to the team today about, forget what happened in the past. How important is that to you and this group as you guys start basically your journey today?
It's huge, excuse me, huge, because I mean none of that stuff matters. You got to focus on what matters at the moment. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, speaking on the past, speaking on the future, but none of that matters. You just got to be where your feet are, and that's pretty much the message. And that's pretty much my message at all times. Is you got to just focus on the main thing.
Juwan, why was that message particularly appropriate today for this team?
One, because we really start tomorrow, so it's important for us to not necessarily hold on to what's been done in the past and not look too far in the future. Like, we shouldn't be really thinking about a preseason game at this moment. We just got to make sure we're ready for that first training camp practice. So that's the main thing for us. So just constantly being where you're supposed to be, just kind of having the morale of the team correct, and make sure we just kind of seeing everything through the same lens and putting everything in perspective.
Coach Belichick said today that you've taken a large part of defensive play calls and communication with them. How comfortable have you grown into that role? And two, what have you learned from Devin when it comes to that aspect?
Well, first and foremost, shout out to Devin. Obviously a pillar here during his time. I mean, for the most part, me and Dev kind of worked hand in hand anyway when it comes to talking about plays and different things like that. But also having guys like him around, having that kind of assistance, whether it be him and Hightower in the past, it's always a big deal. As far as because you're the main communicator on the field, you're the reason everybody kind of has the plays and make sure everybody on the same page. So obviously I don't take that lightly, and it's a huge task, but nothing I'm not ready for, and nothing. We had multiple guys that's able to do that too, so we're good on that area.
Bill also said that your third down role has evolved over the last few years. What are the key factors of that, and how much pride do you take in the field for all of your guys?
Well, anytime I'm on the field, it's an opportunity to make a play. So that's the main thing. I think if you ask any ball player that'll probably be their answer. Well, hopefully that's their answer. So as far as being on the field, obviously your roles change from year to year. So any opportunity that I have, I'm always excited about it, eager about it. Anything the team needs, we always pride ourselves on versatility. So being able to do all those things is definitely good.
What does that look like for you to take on a bigger communication role on defense? Just how different is that? What does that necessarily mean for you to take on a bigger communication? Like, what are the steps, I guess, that you have to take on a bigger communication role?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't blow it out of proportion too much. I've been communicating along, especially with the front seven and things like that. But as far as just having the mic, I've worn the mic every now and then in the past few years too. So it's not foreign territory. So I don't want to necessarily make it a thing that is not. But obviously, like I said, being a main communicator, you're the reason that everybody kind of has the plays. But at the same time, this defense has been together for a little bit, so we kind of already know what we're thinking and what the coaches are thinking and stuff like that. So it's kind of easy when you have great players around you.
You look at the schedule at all and see the challenges of the quarterbacks who are going to face you, or is it? It's probably ridiculous questions that you talked about.
I was about to say, you already know my answer to that.
But okay, you want to play along?
Sure.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks coming at you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, there were some good quarterbacks who you dealt with who had real good days against you. Do you look at this as, hey, we can't have that same kind of thing this year. We play a good one, we're going to be in a shutdown situation.
I would say that's the beautiful part about playing in the NFL is that each year there's a lot of moving pieces, whether it be different players moving to different teams. But at the end of the day, every NFL team's good. Sometimes records kind of don't show that, but sometimes the teams with the worst records be the most explosive teams or have the most explosive quarterback. So each game matters. Well, it don't matter who's behind center. Obviously, he's behind center for a reason. So as far as You already know my answer to the whole looking down the line kind of thing. I'm focused on whoever's the next on the schedule. As far as looking down the line, looking at the long list of quarterbacks, you can't do all that. You got to focus on what's in front of you or what the main thing is. But obviously, there's a lot of talented quarterbacks and just players around the league in general. So us just being ready and prepared and us being on the same page, the focus is usually on us and not necessarily the other team. That comes kind of naturally. But as far as us just being focused on the main thing, that's always what our motto is.
Final question.
John, over the years, it feels like the last couple of years in particular, guys who play your position have gotten a little smaller. Teams are focused on making sure those guys can cover a lot of space just based on what offenses have done. How is it different here in New England? Because between you and I'm thinking, Jelani and, going back a few years, Hightower, obviously, bigger guys. What's the, or how would you describe the most important characteristic of playing your position here in New England?
Doing everything. As far as us, if you like talking size and stuff like that, backers across the league bring something different to the table. But as far as if we're just speaking about us in this building, we pride ourselves in being one versatile, being able to play a whole bunch of different positions and doing it well. Whether it's covering running backs out the backfield, covering tight ends, blitzing, all those kind of things. Everything's important, especially here, because we're asked to do all of those things. And we do it at a high level. We pride ourselves on doing that. Obviously, you will want things to be perfect. And kind of, if I'm you guys, I'm kind of watching everything with a fine-tooth comb and stuff like that. But as far as us, we pride ourselves on doing everything well. So I would say that's a big thing for us, and that's something we look forward to doing and continue to do as this season approaches, and we're excited about it. Appreciate it.